And so my whole life, I struggled with this issue. I snuck around. I wasn't honest with myself, a lot of times not honest with other people. And that all changed when I finally had my final conversation with God. Discussed it with all my children, but the last thing I had to do was sit down with my pastor. Because if anybody has any issues in their life that they're struggling, and everybody does. Everybody's got stuff they have to deal with. And if they have any faith in their soul whatsoever, they sit there and they go, God, why'd you do this? Why is this issue for me of identity in my head 24 hours a day, every day, 365 days out of the year? You can't take 2 aspirin, get plenty of sleep, wake up the next morning, and you're fine. It's just always there. It's who you are. But why? And so this question was always in my heart. And I sat down with my pastor, and you know what? I thought, is there a reason for this? Am I doing the right thing? Do I need to come out and make a difference in probably the most marginalized community in the world? After long thought, I said, you know what? At this point in my life, my kids are raised, everybody's fine. Maybe it's time I take care of myself. Because when that day comes and you go up to the pearly gates and you're walking up the stairs and you're seeing God in front of you and you just ask that question, did I do a good job? Did I do the right thing? And just hope he says, hey, come on in. I did a good job. So that's what my life's been about. I'm just trying to be myself, and I can be myself now. I couldn't do it before because I had too many secrets in my book, Secrets of My Life. I got all my secrets out. I have no secrets anymore. And I just wake up and be myself all day. But I still feel like I'm doing the right thing. And that's the most important thing. Yeah, and I think when I get up there to that day, hopefully I'm in.
Hey Faith family, it's Brother Mario. I pray you're having a wonderful day. I wanted to go ahead and share that clip and give you my thoughts on it because Caitlyn Jenner on Fox News right there was saying some things that are in fact completely backwards when it comes to salvation, how a person enters heaven, and things like that. So in that clip, you just heard that Caitlyn, and unfortunately many, I think millions of people who claim to believe in God falsely believe that they can get into heaven by staying true to themselves or even being a good person. That somehow when they get there on Judgment Day, it's going to be God judging them based on good works. And that's not true at all. And so it's very important that we clarify this, and I encourage you guys to study the Bible to find out what salvation is all about. The first thing that we must recognize is we all fall short of the glory of God. No one can meet God's perfect standard. And so Jesus had to come and live the perfect life that none of us are able to live. And that is why salvation is a term to define how a person is saved and justified before the Lord is by faith and grace alone. No one is going to get in on the basis of being true to themselves or being good enough. If you are going to try to get into the kingdom of God by arguing that you were a good person, none are good. Only Jesus was. And what you're doing is you're trusting your own righteousness. You're trusting your own good works to save you. And that's not how it works at all. Justification is by faith and grace alone. Justification is a term or a Bible doctrine that teaches that we are made right before God by grace and mercy and not our good works. But I hear this so many times and it's such a misunderstanding. And in fact, this is a huge problem because many people are going to get there on Judgment Day and say things like, I'm good enough, I deserve to go into heaven. It's not how it works. It's not. Stop trusting in yourself. Stop thinking that you can be true to yourself and do good and God's going to forgive you. Listen, what you need to recognize is that God has a standard that is so far beyond our standard. The thing about God is he's holy. God is holy. Yes, he's love, but he's also holy. Jesus went and described the level of God's holiness and how it translates to him viewing our sin. For example, if you are angry at a brother, God will consider that to be murder on a spiritual level. If you are married and you even look with lust, you've committed adultery in your heart. And so God's standard is so above ours. His ways are so above ours that we can never meet them. And that's the beauty of Jesus Christ. We are saved by faith and grace alone. Now, I do believe that true saving faith leads to a supernatural experience where Jesus talked about us being born again. A person enters into relationship with God through the Son once they're forgiven and they have faith. But this also will produce a changed life. The person becomes a new creation. Old things are gone and new things begin to happen in their heart. Their heart of stone is turned into a heart of flesh. They have a desire for obedience, holiness, living a life that is pleasing to God. And so it's not this faith where we just simply believe, but we are not transformed. No. It's faith that leads to a transformed life. That is true and saving faith. Because true saving faith will produce works. We know that. All right. So I wanted to share that with you here today because this is not true. We are saved by faith and grace alone. And that's it. And the evidence of that faith and grace being real is a changed and transformed life. But we're not saved by the works. We're not justified by the works at all. So please don't make the mistake that Caitlyn and many other people are making here and think that your good works or staying true to yourself are going to get you into the kingdom. It's simply not. Have a blessed and wonderful day. Stay vigilant and fear no evil.